I sat on my front porch watching my 15-year-old daughter Zara sink basketball shots in our driveway. Her determination reminded me of myself at that age. 10 years, as a single dad, had flown by in the blink of an eye. Then my phone buzzed. A text message appeared from a number I did not recognize, but the words made my heart stop. After a decade of silence, Alicia wanted back into our lives, just when I thought I had finally moved on. Before I share how my world was turned upside down twice by the same woman, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from. If this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to support this channel. I grew up in Chicago, raised by hardworking parents who instilled in me the values of dedication and responsibility. My childhood was relatively normal. I played basketball, studied hard enough to keep my parents off my back, and dreamed about what life might hold beyond high school. After graduation, I received a partial scholarship to attend State University, becoming the first in my family to pursue higher education. It was during my sophomore year that fate introduced me to Alicia. I was at a basketball game with my roommates when I spotted her in the stands across from us. She wore a bright blue sweater that made her stand out in the crowd. Our eyes met several times throughout the game, and afterward, I gathered my courage to approach her. "That number 12 sure can shoot," she said before I could even introduce myself. "Yeah, he is pretty good," I replied, surprised by her knowledge of the game. "I am Donte, by the way." "Alicia," she said with a smile that instantly captivated me. We talked until the janitors started cleaning the empty stadium. There was an immediate connection between us that I had never experienced before. She was studying business, had a quick wit, and shared my love for 90s hip-hop. Within weeks, we were inseparable, spending every free moment together. Our relationship progressed quickly after that. By senior year, we had moved into a small apartment together off campus. We talked about our futures, planning careers in the same city after graduation. I landed a job at a marketing firm while Alicia secured a position at a local bank. Everything seemed to be falling into place according to our plans. Then came the news that would change everything. One evening, Alicia greeted me at the door with an unusual expression. "I took a test today," she said, holding up a pregnancy stick with 2 pink lines. I stood frozen, a mixture of fear and excitement washing over me. We were only 23, barely starting our careers and still figuring out adulthood. But as the initial shock wore off, I found myself warming to the idea of becoming a father. "We can do this," I told her, taking her hands in mine. "If you want to, I mean. I am with you either way." Alicia seemed hesitant at first, but gradually embraced the pregnancy. We converted our small home office into a nursery, painted the walls a soft yellow, and assembled furniture from discount stores. Our families had mixed reactions. My parents were surprised, but supportive, while her parents expressed concerns about our youth and unmarried status. 9 months later, our daughter Zara entered the world after 14 hours of labor. The moment the nurse placed her in my arms, my entire perspective shifted. This tiny human with her mother's eyes and my nose became the center of my universe. I promised her silently that I would always be there for her, no matter what. The first 2 years were challenging but beautiful. Alicia and I worked alternate shifts to minimize daycare costs. I would watch Zara in the mornings and early afternoons, then head to work when Alicia returned home. Sleep became a luxury. Money was tight, but we managed. Those early days were filled with first smiles, wobbly steps, and the incredible joy of watching our daughter discover the world. Looking back now, I can see the signs that Alicia was struggling, though I missed them at the time. When Zara turned 3, the subtle changes became more noticeable. Alicia began spending more time on her phone, scrolling through social media feeds showcasing the lives of our childless friends. She started going out more frequently with coworkers, coming home later each time. "Do you ever wonder what life would be like if we had waited?" she asked me one night, as we lay in bed, Zara finally asleep after a tantrum. "Sometimes," I admitted. But then I look at Zara, and cannot imagine life without her. Alicia turned away without responding. In hindsight, that moment was the beginning of the end, though I was too naive to see it then. The arguments started small. Disagreements about parenting styles escalated into full-blown fights. Alicia thought I was too lenient, while I felt she expected too much from a toddler. She complained about missing her youth, about feeling trapped in a life she never planned for. I tried to support her, suggesting she take weekend trips with friends or pursue hobbies outside the home. I took on more childcare responsibilities, despite my growing workload, hoping to ease her restlessness. Nothing seemed to help. By the time Zara turned 5, Alicia had become a ghost in our home. Physically present, but emotionally distant. She attended kindergarten orientation with a detached expression, barely engaging with the teacher or other parents. That night, she did not join us for our traditional family movie night, claiming she had a headache. The next day changed my life forever. I picked Zara up from school and brought her home, calling out for Alicia as we entered. The house felt different, emptier somehow. In our bedroom, I found the closet door open. Alicia's side completely cleared out. A folded note sat on her pillow. I need to find myself. I cannot do this anymore. I am sorry. 15 words. That was all she left after 6 years together and 5 years of parenthood. No explanation of where she was going. No goodbye to our daughter. Just 15 cold words on a piece of paper. I called her repeatedly, each call going straight to voicemail. Her social media accounts had been deactivated. Her parents claimed they had no idea where she had gone. It was as if she had erased herself from our lives completely. The hardest part was explaining to Zara why her mother was not coming home. How do you tell a 5-year-old that she has been abandoned that night? As Zara asked for her bedtime story from Mommy, I struggled to find the words. Mommy had to go away for a while, sweetie, I said, fighting back tears. But I am here. I will always be here. When is she coming back? Zara asked, her innocent eyes wide with confusion. I do not know, I answered honestly. But we will be okay. I promise. It was a promise I was determined to keep, though I had no idea how difficult the road ahead would be. The weeks following Alicia's departure were a blur of grief, anger, and logistical nightmares. I had to request a modified work schedule to accommodate school drop-offs and pickups. My boss, a father himself, was understanding but made it clear that my career advancement might slow down as a result. I accepted this reality without complaint, knowing Zara needed stability more than I needed promotions. The financial strain was immediate. Suddenly, our two-income household became one while expenses remained the same. I sold our second car and moved us to a smaller apartment in a less desirable but affordable neighborhood. Every night after putting Zara to bed, I would sit at the kitchen table with bills spread out before me, calculating and recalculating how to make ends meet. But the practical challenges paled in comparison to the emotional toll. Zara asked for her mother daily for months. Each question was like a knife to my heart. She would draw pictures of our family always, including Alicia, and ask me to mail them. I pretended to send them, having no forwarding address. My parents became our lifeline during this period. They would drive up from Chicago every other weekend, bringing home cooked meals and giving me a few hours to myself. My sister Jasmine offered to watch Zara during school breaks so I could work uninterrupted. Their support made the impossible merely difficult. You are doing an amazing job, son, my father told me one evening. That little girl is lucky to have you. His words gave me strength on days when I felt completely overwhelmed. I clung to them like a lifeline when doubt crept in. As the first year without Alicia passed, I realized our life needed to move beyond survival mode. I enrolled in night classes to improve my marketing skills, positioning myself for remote work opportunities. After 6 months of studying while Zara slept, I secured a job with a digital marketing agency that allowed me to work primarily from home. The pay was slightly better, but the flexibility was priceless. Our new routine took shape gradually. Mornings began with breakfast together, followed by school drop-off. I would work until pickup time, then focus on Zara until bedtime, often bringing my laptop back out after she was asleep. Weekends became sacred family time, filled with parks, libraries, and community events. The elementary school years brought new challenges. Parent-teacher conferences meant sitting alone, while couples surrounded me. I learned to smile through the pitying looks from mothers who wondered what had happened. School forms, asking for mothers' contact information, became a regular reminder of our unusual family structure. Mother's Day projects were particularly difficult. Zara's first-grade teacher thankfully called me in advance, suggesting Zara might make her card for my mother instead. Other teachers were not as thoughtful. I still keep the handmade clay pendant Zara brought home in second grade, tearfully explaining it was supposed to be for her mom. As Zara grew older, her questions became more direct and harder to answer. Why did Mom leave? Did she not love us enough? She asked one night when she was 8. I tried to be honest without burdening her with adult complexities. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. Your mom had her own struggles that had nothing to do with you. You are perfect and deserving of all the love in the world. But if I was perfect, why did she go? Those words haunted me for months. No matter how many times I reassured her, I knew a piece of her heart would always carry that question. Dating was something I put aside entirely during those early years. My focus was solely on providing stability for Zara and building our new life. When well-meaning friends suggested setting me up, I always declined. The thought of bringing someone new into our delicate ecosystem seemed overwhelming, and honestly, my trust had been severely damaged by Alicia's abandonment. Instead, I channeled my energy into developing skills I never imagined needing. YouTube tutorials taught me how to braid hair. Online forums helped me navigate puberty discussions, and parenting books became my nightly reading. I wanted to ensure Zara never felt disadvantaged by having only a father in her life. Building a community became essential to our survival. I connected with other single parents in our neighborhood, creating an informal support network. We would trade childcare share rides to activities and offer each other the adult conversation we all desperately needed. These friendships sustained me through the most isolating moments of single parenthood. Through all the challenges, I watched Zara grow into a remarkable person. She inherited my determination and developed a resilience that amazed me. Despite the absence in her life, or perhaps because of it, she approached the world with compassion and strength. When Zara turned 10, I made the decision to seek therapy for both of us. The anniversary of Alicia's departure had always been difficult, and I noticed Zara withdrawing more than usual that year. Our therapist helped us process feelings we had both suppressed. For me, it was lingering anger and abandonment. For Zara, it was the deep-seated fear that she was somehow unlovable. The therapy was transformative for our relationship. We learned to communicate more openly about difficult emotions. Zara started keeping a journal where she could express thoughts she was not ready to share. I began acknowledging my own needs after years of putting them last. As my career in digital marketing flourished, our financial situation stabilized. Last year, we were able to purchase a modest home in a good school district. The day we got the keys, Zara ran from room to room, claiming spaces and planning decorations. That night, as we sat on camping chairs in our empty living room eating takeout, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. We had not just survived, we had built something beautiful from the ruins Alicia left behind. By the time Zara reached 15, we had established a rhythm and comfort in our life together. She excelled in school, particularly in mathematics, and had a small but solid group of friends. I had advanced to a senior position at my company, allowing us financial security I once thought impossible. The wound of abandonment had scarred over, no longer raw, but always present beneath the surface. Then came the text that would reopen everything. The message appeared on a Tuesday afternoon as I worked from my home office. Donte. It is Alicia. I know this is out of the blue. I am back in town and would really like to see you and Zara. Please. I stared at my phone in disbelief, reading and rereading the words. After 10 years of complete silence, she thought a simple text message could open doors. My hands shook, with a mixture of anger and shock. I set the phone down without responding and tried to focus on work, but concentration was impossible. That evening, after Zara went upstairs to finish homework, I looked up Alicia's name on social media. Her profiles were active again, filled with photos from places I did not recognize. California beaches, European cafes, Asian temples. While I had been raising our daughter, she had been traveling the world seemingly without a care. After a sleepless night, I responded with a single question. Why now? Her answer came immediately. I have changed. I want to make amends. Please just meet me for coffee. A week of sporadic messaging followed. I learned she had returned to our state after divorcing her second husband. She had been living in Seattle, then London, then Singapore, following various relationships. Each message revealed fragments of the life she had chosen over us, each one stoking the anger I thought I had moved past years ago. Eventually, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop downtown. Without Zara, I needed to assess the situation before potentially disrupting my daughter's life. The morning of our meeting, I felt physically ill with anxiety. What right did she have to reappear after all this time? What could she possibly say to justify her actions? I arrived early, choosing a table near the exit. When Alicia walked in, I almost did not recognize her. Her hair was shorter, highlighted, with expensive-looking blonde streaks. Designer clothes replaced the casual style I remembered. But beyond the physical changes, there was a weariness in her eyes that had not been there before. Thank you for coming, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I am not here for you, I replied coldly. I am here to determine whether you pose any threat to the stable life I have built for our daughter. She winced at my tone but nodded. I deserve that. I deserve worse, actually. The conversation that followed was surreal. Alicia described leaving us as the biggest mistake of my life, tears streaming down her face as she spoke. She detailed her years away, first California, where she lived with a tech entrepreneur twice her age. Then Europe, following a wealthy British businessman. Finally, Asia, with her now ex-husband, a banking executive who turned out to be controlling and emotionally abusive. I was running from responsibility, she admitted. I convinced myself I was too young to be tied down, that I deserved adventure before settling into motherhood. But the truth is, I was just selfish. She claimed therapy and the dissolution of her marriage had brought clarity. She pulled out her phone, showing me photos of meditation retreats and self-help books as evidence of her personal growth. All I could think about were the school plays and birthday parties she had missed, the nights Zara had cried for her mother, the milestones that could never be recaptured. Then came the true purpose of her return. I want to be part of Zara's life again, she said. And maybe, we could see if there is still something between us too. You never remarried, right? The audacity of her suggestion left me speechless. She continued, seemingly encouraged by my silence. We could be a real family again, Donte. I still care about you. I always have. And Zara deserves to have both parents in her life. I cut the meeting short after that, telling her I needed time to process. The drive home was a blur of conflicting emotions. How dare she assume I remained single because I was waiting for her? The reality of my unwillingness to trust after her betrayal was far less romantic than whatever narrative she had created. That night after Zara went to bed, I sat on my back porch wrestling with what to do. A small wounded part of me was curious about what reuniting might look like. We had been so young when Zara was born. Perhaps with maturity and the stability I had created, things could be different. The fantasy was briefly tempting, a glimpse of the conventional family unit I had once dreamed of providing for Zara. But then memories flooded back, sharp and painful. The night Zara had cried herself to sleep, calling for her mother. The kindergarten graduation Alicia had missed. The way my daughter had looked at me on her 10th birthday, asking if her mother even knew how old she was turning. The years of sacrifice and struggle to build the life we now had. I called my sister Jasmine, the only person who had seen the full extent of my pain in those early days. She is back, because her other options did not work out, Jasmine said bluntly. You are her safety net, her backup plan. Her words crystallized the uncomfortable truth I had been avoiding. Alicia had not returned out of love for Zara or me. She had returned because her adventures had failed to provide the security and stability she now found herself needing. We were convenient, not chosen. A week later, I agreed to meet Alicia again, this time at a park. I arrived with clarity and purpose, no longer shaken by her presence. I have given this a lot of thought. I began maintaining a distance between us on the bench. Zara is old enough to have a say in whether she wants contact with you. If she does, I will not stand in the way. But there are conditions. I outlined my terms. Firmly supervised visits. Only at first consistent commitment. Required no disappearing again. No attempt to undermine my parental authority. And absolutely no discussion of us getting back together. You cannot simply walk back into our lives and pick up where you left off, I said. Trust is earned, not given. Especially after what you did. Alicia's face fell as she realized I was not offering the easy reconciliation she had hoped for. But we could try again, she insisted. People change, Donte. I have changed. This is not about us, I replied firmly. This is about what is best for Zara. She has been through enough without setting her up for more disappointment. I left that meeting feeling stronger than I had in years. For the first time since Alicia's abandonment, I had stood up not just for Zara, but for myself as well. I would not allow her to use us as emotional safety nets when it was convenient for her. The conversation with Zara about her mother's return was one of the most difficult I had ever had. We sat in our backyard, her basketball forgotten on the driveway, as I carefully explained the situation. Your mom has contacted me. She is back in town and wants to see you. Zara's expression went from shock to confusion to something more complex. Why now? She asked unconsciously, echoing my own first response. She says she has changed and wants to be part of your life again. I answered honestly. But this decision is yours to make. You are old enough to choose whether you want to see her or not. Zara was quiet for a long time before asking, will you be there too? Every step of the way, if you want me to be. She decided she wanted to meet her mother, but requested I stay present for the initial meetings. We arranged for Alicia to join us for dinner the following weekend on Zara's home territory, where she would feel most secure. That dinner was tense and awkward. Alicia brought expensive gifts that felt like bribes overwhelming Zara, with a tension that was too much, too late. My daughter remained polite but distant, answering questions with minimal information, her body language closed off. In the weeks that followed, Alicia made sporadic efforts to build a relationship with Zara. She would schedule visits, then cancel at the last minute due to job interviews or apartment hunting. Each cancellation reinforced what I had suspected. Her commitment remained conditional and self-serving. 2 months after her return, Alicia began dating a local business owner. Her messages about spending time with Zara became less frequent. When she did visit, she would spend much of the time texting or taking calls. I watched Zara notice these behaviors, saw the hurt in her eyes, but also the growing understanding that her mother's limitations were not a reflection of her worth. 6 months after her dramatic return, Alicia announced she was moving to Denver with her new boyfriend. She promised to maintain contact with Zara, to visit regularly, to call weekly. Both Zara and I knew these were empty promises, but we nodded and wished her well. After she left, Zara and I sat on our front porch, sharing a carton of ice cream in silence. Finally, she spoke. "I'm glad she came back," she said, surprising me. "You are?" She nodded slowly. For a long time, I imagined she was this perfect mom who had to leave for some really important reason. Now I know the truth. She is just a person who makes bad choices. It was never about me. The wisdom in her words took my breath away. At 15, she had articulated what had taken me years of therapy to understand. In her own way, Alicia had given Zara a gift after all the closure of reality over fantasy. The year following Alicia's second departure brought unexpected growth for both Zara and me. Rather than being devastated, my daughter seemed liberated by the experience. She focused more intensely on basketball, earning a starting position on her high school varsity team as a sophomore. Her grades improved from solid to exceptional. She talked more openly about her feelings, no longer carrying the weight of unanswered questions. For my part, I finally felt ready to open my life to new possibilities. 6 months after Alicia left town, I accepted a dinner invitation from Jennifer, a graphic designer I had collaborated with on several projects. Our first date was refreshingly simple conversation that flowed easily, laughter that felt natural, and a complete absence of the emotional baggage I had carried for so long. When I introduced Jennifer to Zara, I expected resistance or jealousy. Instead, my daughter was supportive and welcoming. "She looks at you like you matter," Dad Zara observed after meeting her. "Not like you are useful to her plans." Jennifer understood the complexities of our situation and never tried to replace the mother figure in Zara's life. Instead, she offered friendship and respect, allowing their relationship to develop organically. She attended Zara's basketball games, helped with college application essays, and brought a warmth to our home that had been missing. As Zara's 16th birthday approached, we received a card from Alicia, postmarked from Colorado. Inside was a check and a brief note claiming she thought of Zara often. No phone call came. No visit materialized. Zara added the card to a memory box she kept in her closet, neither upset nor excited by the gesture. "You know what I realized, Dad," she said as we prepared for her birthday dinner. "Family is not about who shares your DNA. It is about who shows up day after day and chooses to love you even when it is hard." Her words crystallized the journey we had been on for the past 11 years. Through abandonment struggle, unexpected return, and second abandonment, we had formed an unbreakable bond. We had created our own definition of family, one built on consistency, honesty, and unwavering presence. I have learned that forgiveness does not mean forgetting or even reconciliation. For us, forgiveness meant releasing the power Alicia had over our happiness. It meant recognizing that her choices reflected her limitations, not our worthiness. It meant moving forward without the weight of bitterness, while also maintaining healthy boundaries. Life continues to unfold in ways I never could have predicted. Zara is researching universities with strong mathematics programs, dreaming of a future in engineering. I am considering a partnership offer at my marketing firm. Jennifer has become an important part of our lives, though we are taking things slowly, mindful of the past's lessons. Sometimes I think about that day, 10 years ago, when I found Alicia's note. The pain was so acute then that I thought I might not survive it. I could never have imagined that from that terrible moment would grow such strength, such resilience, such profound love between a father and daughter. If you are facing abandonment or unexpected challenges in your own life, remember that the story does not end at the painful chapter. With time, effort, and courage, you can write a new narrative. One where the scars remain but no longer define you. One where what was meant to break you becomes the foundation of something beautiful and enduring. Thank you for joining me for this personal story. If it resonated with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Have you ever had someone from your past try to return after causing harm? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Until next time, remember that true family is defined by actions, not blood, and sometimes the most painful endings lead to the most meaningful beginnings.